I use these 5 strategies to destroy my competition every single time and completely legally. And they work for me in software and content businesses, but I also work in e-com. And they're the same strategies behind some of the biggest brands that you know. This is how you escape the price war, stop being compared to everyone else, and own your market and make bank charging premium prices. And before we dive in, here's some quick proof that this really will work for you because I've done it myself. So as of this morning, we cracked $61,178,646.01 in revenue. And there's actually more proof. We have 1,659 reviews on Trustpilot, 4.5 stars. Became one of America's fastest growing company, Inc. 5000. My co-founder became Forbes 30 under 30. I'm unfortunately too old for that, but that's another story. And we created the #1 mobile app builder for the creator economy with more than 60% revenue share in the US, more than 4,000 customers, and more than 2.5 million end users. First strategy we talk about is the difference between being a commodity with tiny margins, scraping by, or being the category leader, making bank. Strategy number 1, marketplaces suck, create your own market. So here's the fact, the easiest way to lose a price war is to enter one. You never want to be in there. When we started Passion.io, we could have built yet another course platform competing feature for feature. Back then, there were 2 big buckets. One bucket were marketplaces like Udemy and Coursera. I became one of the bigger instructors on Udemy actually with more than 50,000 students under my belt. But Udemy sucked because people from Pakistan and India were cloning my courses and reselling them at lower price points on the same marketplace. All of a sudden, same content, just cheaper. It was a race to the bottom. It was ridiculous. The second big bucket were tools where you have to bring in the distribution. For example, Kajabi, Teachable, and Thinkific. So I then actually transitioned to Teachable with my content from Udemy. And there I was building my own course. But I really hated the experience. It was like web courses from the 90s. It's like, this is not something I can do. So everyone was on the phone. I was on the phone. I used my phone for everything. So instead, we built a space where creators could launch their own branded apps. No more fighting for attention inside someone else's marketplace or competing with a tool like Kajabi, Teachable, or Thinkific, right? And the people were on apps, on the phone. So we were the first mover there, we were unique, and we entered a complete blue ocean. And in software, that's like stepping off the crowded high street into your own flagship store, where you control the environment, the customer experience, the pricing. You can do even a crappy job and people will still come because there's no one else doing it. Let's talk about Gymshark. Gymshark did the same thing in e-commerce. They didn't put their products on Amazon next to 20 other pairs of leggings at a premium price. They sold through their own channels, built their own audience, and owned the customer relationship. Obviously, there's a reason why a Shopify coexists to an Amazon marketplace. It's not like either or. It's actually combined together. A marketplace brings you the distribution power, but margins are shit, and they take all the margins. Wherever they can make money, they will take it from you. You will not earn anything, but there are people. We talk about that later. Like, it's really good to generate leads, but then to monetize, you want to have your own thing, your own store. You want your own audience and everything. So if you sell an e-com, you need a Shopify store. It's obvious as that. Let's talk about courses. If you sell info products, the same rule. You can either sell your signature program through your own platform where you can charge whatever you want, or you can bury it inside Udemy with 50 other courses for $9.99. And there's like a weekly special for 99 cents. It's just ridiculous. Like with my 50,000 students on Udemy, I made less than $17 a month with 50,000 students. Isn't that ridiculous? So it's a broken system. Marketplaces just suck. I can only repeat that. So here's what you do. Number 1, you build your own sales environment. That means it could be a Shopify store. It could be a webpage with a checkout. It could be your own app. Go to Passion.io. It could be a community, right? Where you sell access to. Number 2, you remove your core offers from high competition marketplaces. Because if you sell your core thing there, you will not make any money. They will take it from you. You sell a mousetrap there, something that brings customers in, but then the main thing at much higher price points, you sell on the back end. And number 3, you design every step of the buying journey yourself. So you don't want them to control the thing because they act in their interest with their algorithms to maximize their money. You need to control this for yourself. Otherwise, you will not make any money. But you know what? Having your own store, app, or site is actually not enough. People still need a reason to remember you. And that's where strategy number 2 changes everything. So strategy number 2. Story, 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 story. Like in real estate, location, location, location. It's story, story, story. So build a strong story brand. Fact is, people don't buy the product. They buy the story they tell themselves about owning it. For example, they buy a dress, not in order to have a dress made out of silk or fabric or whatnot. They buy the dress in order to look beautiful and because it makes them look like a queen or like a boss or like classy or whatnot, right? So if that is then connected to the brand of this dress because it makes women look classy, perfect, right? You buy into that story. You do not buy a certain weight of silk or fabric. that makes any sense. So here's my example about Marketing OS, which is my high-ticket coaching offer where I work exclusively with founders that have a 7-figure business and want to grow that to 8 figures and beyond profitably. So here's what happens there. With Marketing OS, we could have positioned ourselves as just a marketing course, right? Learn marketing. That would have been worth $10 on Udemy. But we actually built the brand around helping founder operators create systems that really drive sales profitably, right? Without scaling the headcount, they can automate a ton. And that story is why people choose us. It's also trustworthy. I've done it myself, right? Like I have a tool belt full of things that had made us grow to 8 figures profitably. So of course, like I can now like share that knowledge with a selected amount of people. And that's why it's so powerful. So the story is why people, in this case founders, choose us over generic alternatives. Gymshark is not just selling clothing. They sell the identity of being part of a movement of training like the athletes you follow. And what you see in their marketing is really attractive people, male, female, it doesn't matter. They just look like awesome in the gym, right? So like in this stuff, you look awesome and you will become like them. If you create a course about public speaking, that is forgettable. There's a billion other alternatives, right? But if you change the course to how to own the room and double your close rate in any pitch, that's a transformation. There's a clear ROI behind it. So that let's say you sell something, now you sell double the amount. That's a clear ROI. So whatever you're making now double. The story is the hook, the ROI is in it, and all of a sudden you can charge for this course not $10, but $5,000, $10,000 and whatnot. So here are the action steps. Write your customers before and after. That's the transformation, right? Highlight the emotional journey. There's an external journey and there's an internal journey. The external journey is what they will achieve. For example, double your close rate, right? And you show that, how that's possible. And the internal one is the person that they become. They actually become a successful public speaker that can live off that trait, and they will own the room, captivate the people, and have an impact on them. And with that, their own life mission, where they're coming from, is amplified, right? Like that's the internal thing, the internal status elevation. And number 3, make that the core of your visuals, copy, and offers. It's not the product, it's the story that you highlight. But here's the thing, even the best story can fall flat if no one believes you, which is why step 3 lets you borrow years of trust in a single day. Let's go. Strategy number 3, use aspirational testimonials or put your best customers on stage. What do I mean by that? The fastest way to build trust is to borrow it. In the first years, before like we even did the software, and like post Udemy where I was selling Excel courses as a former consultant to monetize my knowledge. So I was thinking, what if I take people out there that have a crazy audience but have no clue how to do business in a country with people that have tons of money and they are craving for them to launch and sell a product? Well, that might work much better than what I'm doing, right? So we were looking for proven influencers and creators, as they're called today, with a loyal audience and high purchase power countries. And then we would partner with them, launch a product with a strong story, and monetize their audience. So instead of putting some random brand with no face, or like putting a phrase which is not proven, or just like doing it myself, we leveraged their brand, their trust, their aspirational image. That's how we made our first 7 figures. Remember, people did not just buy the product, they bought into them. And that trust spilled over to us instantly as well. And here, fun fact, with paid ads, we could 10x the revenue that they would have been making with their just organic reach. Because organic reach was already back then great, but like not worth as much if you do not amplify it with ads. Gymshark built their empire by putting products on the backs of fitness influencers long before they could afford traditional ads. So if you do not have a working funnel where you can run ads and make a profit off that, because in the end it's like gym clothing, right? You're not selling $2,000 products or courses here. You sell something which still is like a $100 thing, maybe like even below that. In this case, you start just with the influencers. You find people that really fit your brand where you see like, okay, this works. You of course want to find something which is ideally success-based. So when they post, you see what revenue comes in and they get then 20%, for example, of that. If you pay them per post, that can also work, but you have to really be sure, because you can quickly dump a ton of money on some people's accounts making a post, but then the post is not good and actually the audience is not as good, and in the end like you just dump a lot of money. But if done well, influencer marketing still works really, really, really good. And then once you have a working funnel, you can put ads on top to supercharge it. So if you run a coaching program, get a respective figure in your niche to complete it, or actually, you know what, like just like take your best customers, especially the ones where you feel all the others in your cohort, in your group, in your audience would love to be like this customer, have that success, have that identity, have that story, right? So you take them and you put them on stage. And that doesn't make you the hero, that makes them the hero, but it sells your stuff so much more effectively. So share their results and their story will sell your program for you. So here are the action steps. Identify creators your audience already trusts. These can also be customers. Number 2, craft an offer and story that aligns with their brand so that it feels authentic for them and for you. So it's kind of like, yeah, that makes total sense. If that makes sense for them, it will also make sense for me. And then number 3, let their face and voice introduce your product to the market. So you market the story and their face, not the product. But the real magic starts when you combine that trust with a transformation that is so unique that no one can compare you to anything else. This brings us to strategy 4. Don't sell products, sell transformations or experiences. We touched upon it a little bit when we spoke about stories above, but just want to really hone in on that point so that you that is crystal clear. The fact is, when you sell a transformation, competitors selling just a product will always lose. Here's the example of Marketing OS. Marketing OS is not just templates or videos, it's milestones, accountability, and a clear system that turns marketing from chaos, not working, stumbling into things, doing a post and wondering why no one is reacting, into a scalable profit engine. So it's not a deliverable, it's a transformation. Apple does not sell a phone. They sell a lifestyle of creativity, of status, and seamless integration, simplicity. If you have a course that just gives content, it will compete on price. But a program that gives content, feedback, and community competes on transformation. So here are the action steps. Number 1, map the before, during, and after. Number 2, add unexpected delight moments. So you want to elicit emotion in the transformation. And number 3, present the journey as the product, not the product itself. So once you have that transformation in place, you then need to stop relying on rented channels that can disappear overnight because the algorithm is changing and whatnot. This brings us to strategy number 5. Build owned marketing channels and generate leads with rented marketing channels. So the fact is, if you do not own your audience, you do not own your business. Like Instagram, you do not even have email addresses of people. So with Passion and Marketing OS, right, we move every new customer from rented platforms like social media into channels that we control. So from ads, from posts into email lists, communities, branded apps. So with that, we own the customer, the relationship, the revenue, and everything. On e-com, it's the same. Even if you have your mousetrap offer on marketplaces like Amazon, you want to use that to generate email addresses, and there's ways to actually get the email address to then market the higher priced products to these people, and that's where you make the margin. So Gymshark built that massive following, but then converted that massive following into an email list, which today they can market to at zero cost. And whatever happens to the algorithm, they still have that. And they also have their own app to keep customers buying, even when social media drops, right? So for courses, it's the same. If you teach online, your list is the most valuable asset that you own. Your list is your gold. And it's the difference between a one-off sale and a sustainable business where people keep buying and buying and buying. So here's your action list. Number 1, you pick one known channel. For example, hey, let's build up an email list. Let's create an app with members. Let's create a community with members. Then number 2, you give people a reason to join now. And number 3, obviously with that, you move social traffic there every single week. All right, so let's bring this all together. That's the playbook. You first own your marketplace in order to create your own market. You craft the brand story around it. You borrow trust using other people, brand faces, influencers, creators. You sell a transformation, not a product, and you own your audience. You do not just rent them. So if you do one of these, you will stand out. If you do all 5, you will destroy your competition completely legally. So watch my other videos where I show you exactly how to implement these steps. Link to this document is in the description, and subscribe if you want to grow profitably. So see you in the next video.